Now, is this sort of thing, I mean, that's one of many stories that I'm sure you have. Is this sort of thing hereditary? Like, does any other family members kind of exhibit some of these funny stories? Or
well, I'm happy to say that I have 2 kids, and neither of them has been to jail yet. So,
okay, that's
so
good.
That's a good sign.
What about in the other direction?
My dad actually and his brother had a similar experience. They were put in the pokey for a night for being in a town they didn't belong in with no visible means of support. But Dad had an experience as a boy that I think was kind of a premonition of this whole family tendency.
Of what the family was going to be like?
He grew up on the frontier in Idaho, Salmon, Idaho,
okay.
Right on the Continental Divide, the line between Idaho and Montana. And he was in the house one day, he was about 12, and he was bored. And they had a wood-burning stove in there.
Bored is all 12-year-olds in Idaho
would absolutely, absolutely. You know, he was tired of video games. No, and they had one of these big wood-burning stoves. They hardly ever see them anymore. But big cast iron, you know, black stoves, and
for sure.
And they've got the little round lids with the handles that you know, and they've got the doors in the front where you put
any
the
story
wood.
that involves a fire in a wood stove's gotta be good.
And you got a stovepipe coming out the top and out the wall.
Yeah.
And Dad found a coffee can full of bullets. Technically, shells, not just the bullets, loaded cartridges.
Please tell me he didn't.
He did. And he found that you could take a little .22 short and drop it in the stove, and it would go pew, and he thought that was fun. So he entertained himself with that for a while.
He kept going up and up, I'm assuming.
And one day, his whole family was out of the house, and he waited. They were going out in the morning, and they had breakfast, and he could hardly wait because he was going to, you know, try something. And he waited until his dad was the last one out the door.
Naturally.
And it was all fine. And he ran over to the coffee can, and he found, I think it was a 30-06 shell. I don't know for sure because I wasn't there, but it was a rifle shell with, you know, pointed.
Much bigger than a .22.
Menacing looking, you know. And he ran over to the stove and dropped it in the stove and put the lid back on, and he stood back to see what would happen, and his dad came walking back in the door.
Oh, no.
And it was cold that day. So his dad comes over to the stove to warm his hands, see, and my dad's over in the corner like, and his father turns himself around to get his rear end near the stove to warm it up.
Of course, you got to do what you got to do.
And just as he has his back to the stove, the shell goes off.
Bam!
And those little circle lids, you know, they go cartwheeling through the air, and the room fills with smoke, and the stovepipe comes out of the wall, and my grandfather, whom I never met, and not because of that, but
yes.
he turned around, and I can't tell you exactly what he said, but the gist of it was,
for sure.
Well, what do you suppose might be the matter with the stove? You know, and he had noticed out of the corner of his eye just before the explosion that his son was over in the corner, kind of like he expected something to happen. And so Dad had a very difficult day for the rest of the day, we'll just say that.
I'm sure probably had a tough time sitting down.
Yes.
for a while. Wow. So hopefully your grandkids will not have to pull anything like that to get your attention.
Who knows?
But maybe the potential's there.
If they do, see, I'm not the parent. I'm the grandparent, and so I can just laugh at them. It'll be awesome.
And you can send them back, get all the shenanigans out, and then send them right back.
Send them right back.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Dr. Olinger did not disappoint. He is indeed. Maybe, you know, I might move you up. Maybe the 45th. I think those 2 stories, they moved you up to the 45th most interesting man in the world.
Because, you know, I keep a close eye on my ranking.
Of course, naturally. All right, we will be right back. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Dr. Olinger and I are going to play a very interesting variation of Operation. You're not going to want to miss it.